The exclusive Now news report exposes a troubling aspect of how power is exercised by senior American political leaders. The misuse of public resources and the growing strain placed on the nation's security apparatus for the personal convenience of political families. Through an in-depth discussion between anchor Jacob and Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist Carol Leonig, the broadcast goes far beyond a report on extravagant government spending. Instead, it serves as a sharp indictment of the erosion of public ethics and the widening gap of trust between America's political leaders and the agents sworn to protect them. 1. An investigative foundation and the significance of internal whistleblowers. The broadcast opens with an exclusive and striking revelation. Secret Service agents assigned to protect Vice President J.D. Vance's family have reportedly become exhausted and increasingly frustrated by the family's frequent last-minute requests for personal travel. This serves as a powerful entry point because the United States Secret Service is widely regarded as one of the country's most disciplined and discreet federal agencies, whose members rarely speak publicly about internal dissatisfaction. The participation of Carol Leonig, a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist and author of Zero Fail, a book examining the Secret Service, immediately lends substantial credibility to the report. According to the broadcast, the fact that security personnel themselves were willing to share their concerns with journalists signals that internal frustration has reached an extraordinary level. 2. Financial excess and the normalization of privilege. The report first examines allegations surrounding a request to use Marine 2, the vice president's military helicopter, to transport J.D. Vance's young son to a golf lesson at Joint Base Andrews. Although the flight was ultimately canceled because of poor weather conditions, the incident is presented as revealing a mindset that treats public assets as personal conveniences. Operating Marine 2 reportedly costs between $16,000 and $24,000 per flight, horror expenses ultimately borne by American taxpayers. Whereas the children of previous vice presidents generally traveled locally in government SUVs when security was required, the report argues that the Vance family sought to employ presidential-level transportation for a child's recreational activity. The broadcast further notes that Marine 2 had allegedly been used during the family's search for a new home in Virginia, reinforcing the argument that official government resources were becoming normalized as tools for private family use. 3. Bobcat OTR Survivors Club. Silent resistance within the Secret Service. One of the report's most revealing and symbolic details is the emergence of an internal commemorative challenge coin bearing the inscription Bobcat OTR Survivors Club. Bobcat is the Secret Service code name assigned to Vice President Vance, while OTR stands for off the record, referring to spontaneous trips that were reportedly absent from the official schedule. The report argues that the coin is far more than an inside joke. Instead, it symbolizes quiet resistance by agents coping with what they view as unreasonable operational demands. According to the broadcast, the family's repeated last-minute travel requests create two significant consequences. First, they severely disrupt the personal lives of Secret Service agents, who are frequently forced to cancel scheduled leave and family commitments to accommodate unexpected travel. Second, they increase security risks by leaving insufficient time for advance teams to survey locations, develop operational plans, and establish comprehensive protective measures. Ironically, the report argues, those entrusted with protecting the vice president's family are placed in greater danger by the very individuals they are assigned to safeguard. 4. The arrogance of power and the contradictions in official messaging. The report also highlights what it describes as a striking disconnect between the administration's public statements and the allegations raised by agents. The Vice President's office issued a statement praising the Secret Service for its excellent protection of a young and growing family, while avoiding direct responses to questions concerning the alleged use of Marine 2 for personal purposes. Unnamed officials reportedly suggested that agents should simply accept the reality because accommodating such requests was part of their job. The report further contrasts these statements with earlier public remarks made by J.D. Vance himself. In the reference video clip, Vance enthusiastically describes aspects of his new lifestyle, including having others shop for groceries, no longer needing to cook, traveling on government aircraft, and bypassing airport security lines. Although Vance jokingly acknowledged that he must be careful not to become an entitled asshole, the report argues that his family's conduct appears to reflect precisely the attitude he claimed he wished to avoid. According to the broadcast, this contrast paints the portrait of a politician who has rapidly become accustomed to the privileges of high office. 5. a morale crisis and a warning for America's national security system. In its concluding analysis, the report expands beyond an individual controversy to raise broader concerns about the condition of America's national security infrastructure. The Secret Service has faced years of staffing shortages, increasing operational demands, and persistent budget pressures, particularly following major security failures in Butler. Carol Leonig describes the agency as holding together one of the pillars of American democracy, with little more than duct tape and sweat. The report argues that requiring an already overstretched workforce to accommodate poorly planned and highly personal travel requests not only wastes taxpayer resources, but also undermines the morale of the very professionals responsible for protecting the nation's highest elected officials. When agents increasingly feel that they are being treated as personal attendants rather than public servants carrying out a national mission, the report warns that their dedication, effectiveness, and institutional confidence inevitably suffer. Conclusion. The MS Now report ultimately serves as a powerful reminder that political power carries with it an obligation of accountability and restraint. The controversies surrounding the alleged use of Marine 2 to transport Vice President J.D. Vance's son to a golf lesson is presented as far more than a debate over government spending. Instead, it becomes a broader reflection on how political privilege can foster a sense of entitlement among those at the highest levels of government individuals who, according to the report's analysis, risk exhausting the very national security personnel entrusted with protecting them in pursuit of personal family convenience.